You do not need to be a genius to write titles that get clicks. I started on YouTube just under 2 months ago, and I test titles every single week, so my small channel gets seen next to channels with 100,000 subscribers or even millions of subscribers. I am an itsy bitsy tiny fish in an ocean full of whales, so I have to stand out. My video packaging is the only way I can do that. My secret is not one trick, it's how I frame the same idea 6 different ways, and in this video I show you all 6. No gatekeeping. I'm giving you all the ingredients, you just have to decide if you're making cake or cookies. This is not a video where I say super generic and boring things. I get very specific, and I even give you a template that you can use to create the most addicting and attention-grabbing titles. It's in the description below. This is not only useful on YouTube, but in marketing in general. My titles are marketing for my channel, so to stand out in the crowd, I need good titles and thumbnails. For this method, you simply pick the frames that match the subject and the emotion you're trying to convey through the title. Stack them together and you'll turn good titles into great titles. That's enough blabbering from me, so let's get to the point. The first set of frames are time and stakes. This is how you make a title feel urgent. The first frame in here is duration. In 30 days, over 7 years, I spend 100 hours. An example could be, what 30 days of testing titles taught me. It shows time was invested and not necessarily a future promise. Another example could be, I spend 100 hours analyzing titles that fail. The next frames in here are about a deadline or an urgency. Before I'm 40, or only 7 years left. An example of this is, I have 7 years to retire before 40. Why does that work? Well, it adds a clock. Now the viewers are feeling that same pressure with you. And the last time and stakes frame is recency, meaning 20 years ago or in the last 90 days. Couple examples of this. What 20 years of the 9 to 5 taught me about money. What the last 90 days on YouTube showed me. Now to clarify, you don't need all 3 of these for a title to work. Just pick one of these anchors and it'll make any title way more enticing. The second set of frames are about scale and magnitude. These help make a promise concrete and clickable. The first frame in here is superlative. It's the best, or the cheapest, or the biggest. An example, the cheapest way to escape the 9 to 5. The next frame in here is a number or a quantification. 20K a month, or 100 subscribers. Couple examples, how I made 20K a month in passive income. What 100 subscribers taught me about YouTube growth. The last frame in scale and magnitude is about a list or a count of something. 7 ways, 5 mistakes, or 3 lies. Here's a couple examples. 5 mistakes that kill your views. 3 lies about making money online. Being specific here with a number helps tell the viewer exactly what they can expect. The third set of frames are change and movement. This is where you show viewers a journey and not just a tip or a trick. The first frame in here is transformation. An example of this could be, from broke to business owner, my real transformation. The next frame is a before and after, X versus Y, then versus now. An example of this, college dropout versus business owner. What changed? The last frame in this section is about progression. Here's an example, the 8-step path I followed to financial freedom. Long story short of all this, people click transformations because they want to see if it's possible for them too. And some people just want to be supportive, so if you give them the chance, you'll gain some supporters just by showing your progression and determination. My subscribers are very supportive of me, and it's honestly the best part about all of this. If you're enjoying the video so far, please consider subscribing too. I'd love to have you join me in my YouTube journey. Continuing on here, the fourth set of frames are taboo intention. This is where the clicks live. You are naming what others avoid. The first frame in here is a forbidden or a secret thing, what nobody tells you. Here's a perfect example, what nobody tells you about making money online. This is the exact frame I use for the title of this video. I literally say my secret right at the end. The next frame in here is to expose or call out something. Here's another example, influencers are scamming you about passive income. There's also a frame about being contrarian. I reject the idea, or X is a lie. Here's an example. I reject the idea that college guarantees success. The last tension frame is about a mistake or regret. Here's some excellent examples. 5 money mistakes I made in my 20s. or why your titles get no clicks. With these frames, you need to keep it honest. Tension may get the click, but being trustworthy is what keeps people watching. The fifth set of frames are identity and perspective. You make it about a person, you or them. The first one in here is personal or a confession. An example is, I'm 33 and starting over from zero. The second frame is the direct address, why you should blank. An example here, why you feel behind even when you earn more. The third frame in here is about authority or credibility, as someone who blank, or I analyze blank. Here's an example. I analyzed 100 channels that fail at titles. Now, by no stretch of the imagination do you need to be the expert to use this. You just need to share what you actually do. People don't necessarily care if you're the expert, they just care that what you do is working. The next set of frames are about curiosity and creating a hook. This is where you open the loop. The first one is the curiosity gap. This one thing, ... An example here, the one title trick that changes everything. There's also the question, what happens when blank? Another example, what happens when you stop chasing views? There's also a challenge or an experiment frame. I try X for 30 days. An example of this could be, I test viral titles for 30 days. And the last frame in this is about consequences or the stakes. Do this or lose everything. A great example could be, fix your titles or lose the click. That last example is actually what this entire video is about. Bad packaging on a video, or anything for that matter, won't get the attention you want it to have. A great message, product, or service is worthless without great marketing. Bad marketing equals no clicks, which equals no views. Now, I apologize for that complete information dump. The boring part is honestly out of the way. Now, to show everything in action, let's actually break down the title of this video. How to write titles people cannot ignore, my secret. Now, as I've previously mentioned, the forbidden or the secret frame is literally at the end, and I say, my secret. I also have a curiosity gap in there. People cannot ignore. Well, why can't people ignore it? Well, they have to click to find out why. If I wanted to add a frame about time in there, I could say, how to write titles people cannot ignore, 30 days of tests. If I wanted to add scale, I could do 5 title frames I used to get 200% more clicks. The difficult part is honestly just deciding which frames to use. Pick 2 or 3 frames and stack them together for each title. You have to be careful though, because 4 or more frames and you may completely turn your title into a big jumbled mess of a bunch of really catchy words. I think it's also very important to mention here that some of these frames are associated with clickbait, so you want to make sure to avoid those titles like how I made 20K in 5 days. Even if that was true, what are the chances someone watching you can do the same thing? They may be glad for your success, but how did it actually help them? I want you to try this. Take one of your underperforming video titles and rewrite it with 1 frame from 2 or 3 different categories. Let me know how it goes. I'd be interested to see how it performs. This was a very different video from what I usually do, but I hope it helped you in some way. I'd really love to know what you think about this strategy. I can do another video later about thumbnails if that's of interest, so let me know in the comments. Again, the whole checklist is down below in the description, so feel free to copy and paste that wherever you need it. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to the next one. Peace.